NBA 2K26 dropped last Friday for early access and I've already sunk about 15 hours into it. So I figured, hey, it's a good time to share some first impressions about the game. And just so you know where I'm coming from, I've been playing 2K on and off since like 2K5. I love basketball, I love the series, but I wouldn't call myself some highly skilled player who nails every green. Because honestly, I've been actually pretty trash at timing shots for the past few years. I also don't really touch MyCareer, MyCity or MyTeam most of the time. Like most of my playthrough goes into offline MyNBA, that's my jam. But since I am planning to review this game properly and cover it well, I did spend some time in those online modes as well, so you get better idea about the game. So yeah, that's the perspective you're getting here. And with that out of the way, let's talk about how NBA 2K26 actually feels to play. First thing that hit me was that NBA 2K26 feels quite different in gameplay department from NBA 2K25. The game here feels super smooth. Like animations blend together nicely, defenders aren't glue sticking to you like they used to, and you can actually get a step on people quite reliably. That alone makes drives feel satisfying, at least at first. Because here's the thing about the game. Sometimes movement feels very inconsistent. Like your guy suddenly hits turbo mode mid-animation and starts moving faster than what looks humanly possible. It's really weird. And players don't really feel like they've got weight to them. The game got this kind of floaty vibe, especially with fast wings when they got the ball in their hands. It makes the gameplay feel flashy and dynamic for sure, but also a little bit unbalanced and not super realistic at the same time, so it's a weird mix because animations are silky smooth, they look fantastic, but then the gameplay feels very imbalanced and it's really weird. And that ties into defense being quite rough this year. Once you are beaten, it's really hard to recover. On the one hand, I kinda like it because offensive superstars should feel dominant when they get a step on someone, right? But on the other, it leans a bit too much into arcadey feel and it breaks the immersion for me. Now, when it comes to shooting, it's way better than last year. I personally hated the shot meter options in NBA 2K25, and here in NBA 2K26, you've got a ton of different meters to pick from, which is really nice. And I actually don't understand why they don't always give us all the possible options of shot meters and only limit us to like what, 3 last year, which was really weird. Shooting also feels easier overall. And post-play also feels better this year than before. Guys who are in reality post-up stars can actually score consistently without you having to bait defender into jumping, which I really struggled with in NBA 2K25. Defense has its ups and downs. I like that if you gamble on a steal or a block and mess up the timing or the positioning, you're completely out of position in that play. That's realistic and I think it will be great online as well, but I have to test it out more in online multiplayer gameplay. Onboard defense also feels like it requires more actual skill now. You've got to read your opponent's moves rather than just letting the body up animations do the work for you. But like I said earlier, the floaty, inconsistent movement makes it tough to stay in front of quick ball handlers. So yeah, overall I would say I am leaning towards really liking the gameplay in NBA 2K26, but it's not perfect. It certainly feels different than last year, which I really like, because it's really boring when the next game in the series basically feels like roster updates, right? And I definitely want to mess around with sliders to slow things down and balance offense versus defense a little bit better. Because right now it feels a little too turbocharged, and that kinda sucks. Alright, let's now talk about game modes. So, I gave my players' online stuff a shot, the MyCity game mode. Man, what an atrocious experience. I don't see the appeal of it at all. It feels goofy, selfish, and has very little to do with actual basketball. Everyone's just spamming dribble moves, zigzagging and waiting for someone to slip so they can score. I hopped into Rec, thinking maybe that would be better, but nope. The point guard just held the ball hostage. They dribbled like most of the time and only passed the ball if it was guaranteed assist. And that wasn't even the worst part about my city experience, because Park is just streetball at its absolute worst. You know, every time I play these Control 1 player online modes, I am actually shocked how many people are actually into them. Like, there's almost zero teamwork here unless you've got a full squad of friends. And the grind? It's brutal. Upgrading your player is insanely expensive, and the matchmaking throws you in with guys rated 80-90 when you are just starting at 65 or something. Obviously, you will get cooked, and it's not gonna be fun at all. I read somewhere that it takes like 190,000 VC to get your player to an overall 86. For perspective, in MyCareer story games, I was earning, let's say, 1 to 1.2 thousand VC per match. So yeah, it's about like 180, 190 games in total. Or of course, you can just cough up $50 for VC. And online games give you even less VC. So unless you are paying or playing single player career mode, it's a painful grind. And don't even get me started on the season pass and MyTeam progression. It's slow and it's clearly on purpose, so you are tempted to buy level skips. The greed of 2K is just right in your face, and it sucks because I know that people will still give in and spend money. So yeah, after just a handful of MyCity games, I had enough of that nonsense and decided to try MyTeam. At least in theory, it sounded more fun to me. Problem was that during early access, no one seems to be playing it. I sat in queues for like 20-30 minutes with no matches popping. So that left me with MyCareer story mode if I wanted something different from the usual MyNBA games. And honestly, it's been better than I expected. The cutscenes are cringe at first, but the more I played, the more it grew on me actually. The relationship between your character and his parents actually feels quite believable, and I kinda like them all as characters. Your player's nickname this year is MP, and he is written as this driven, ambitious kid. His lines aren't bad either. He comes off as well-raised, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it would be more goofy, you know? So this career mode out of bounds storyline is basically your up and coming from high school to NBA draft. Right now I think I'm close to the draft and I'm curious to see how it all plays out. Now, I'm not usually a MyCareer guy. I actually haven't played through one since like NBA 2K18? So for me, it feels quite fresh and entertaining. But I'm curious to know what you guys think, especially if you are veterans of this mode. Does this year's Out of Bounds storyline do anything for you? Let me know in the comments. As for me, I'll soon be diving into MyEra, which is my usual go-to in NBA 2K, and I think it's actually the greatest game mode in any sports game that I've ever played. From what I've seen this year, there aren't any brand new eras, which is a bit disappointing. I was hoping we would have a little bit more of an advancement in our options, but at least there are cool intros for the different eras that set the scene with a bit of history. As a nostalgia junkie, I definitely appreciate that little touch, and I am also curious to see how the changes to gameplay impact this amazing game mode. Alright, last thing I want to touch on is the presentation of the game. Visually, NBA 2K26 looks a little bit better than last year, but it's nothing earth-shattering. Most of the face scans are solid this year, except Anthony Edwards. I don't know why, but 2K just can't get him right for many years now. On the flip side, coaches actually look better this year, which is cool to see. Lighting is improved, even without mods, and the animations are the smoothest I've ever seen in a 2K game. But I am not a fan of how skin and sweat look this year by default. It's kind of plasticky, kind of weird. I'm already counting on modders to fix that issue. And if you are on PC, I do recommend trying out my Reshade preset for NBA 2K26. I think it makes the game look way more realistic. Link to the video with that mod in the video description. Then we've got soundtrack, and yeah, it's not my vibes at all. Maybe it's me being almost 40 and not really feeling modern music, but the older 2K soundtracks, especially the ones pre-2015, were just miles better in my opinion. I'll throw the track list of NBA 2K26 on the screen right now, so you can judge for yourself. Maybe you like it more than I do, I don't know. Then we got menus, and they are just fine. Nothing flashy, nothing broken, pretty much the same layout as before, especially in my NBA era. The main menu theme is dark this year, which I actually really like. None of that overly colorful nonsense we've seen last year. It feels cleaner, so I hope they don't mess with that in future seasons updates. So yeah, those are my first impressions of NBA 2K26. The gameplay feels really different from 2K25, and honestly, I didn't like 2K25 too much. I was more of a fan of 2K24, but 2K26, so far it feels like an up year for the series. It's not perfect, but I'm having tons of fun with it. If you've already been playing, let me know down in the comments. Do you like the gameplay changes? How do you feel about shooting and movement this year? And if you enjoyed hanging out with me for these impressions, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be dropping a full review soon and plenty more NBA 2K content in the near future. Anyway, that's all from me in this video. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.